Students, in this video, we'll discuss the rhyming scheme and the poetic devices used in the poem Wind. Now let us talk about the rhyming scheme of the poem. Students, as you all know, that to find out the rhyming scheme of any poem, we observe the words which are at the end of each line, and we check if any word rhymes with any other word which is at the end of any other line. So here in this poem, you can see the words which are at the end of these lines do not rhyme with any other words which is at the end of any other line. So here you can see that this complete poem is written in free verse. Free verse means the poem which does not have any rhyming scheme or does not has any regular rhythm. So this is all about the rhyming scheme. It means this poem does not have any rhyming scheme. This poem is completely a free verse. Now let us talk about the poetic devices used in the poem. Now if we read the very first line of the poem, that is, wind, come softly. Now here the poetic device used in the poem is personification. Now students, what is personification? Personification is a device when an inanimate or non-living thing is treated as a person or a living thing. We call it a personification. So in this line you can see the poet is addressing the wind. He is saying that he is asking the wind to come softly like a child, not like a youth, which is full of energy. So it means here the poet is trying to treat the wind as if it is a person and it is standing in front of him. So you can see that the personification is beautifully used in the opening line of the poem. Now talk about the second poetic device used in the poem. Now the second poetic device used in the poem is anaphora. Now student, what is anaphora? When a word is repeated at the beginning of two or more than two lines, or you can say continuous lines or consecutive lines, so we can see the word don't is in the beginning of second line, it is also repeated in the third line and then in the fourth line. So you can see the word don't has been repeated again and again in three continuous lines. So it means this is a beautiful example of anaphora. One more word which you can see in the sixth line, seventh line and eighth line, the word is you. Here you can see the word you has been repeated in the beginning of these three lines. So this is also an example of anaphora. Now the third poetic device used in the poem is repetition. Now what is repetition? It is the word, if any word is repeated again and again just to put an emphasis, this is called repetition. Now you can see that in the line number 9, 10 and 11, the word crumbling has been repeated many times. It is just to put emphasis. So the word crumbling has been repeated in these three lines just to put emphasis. So this poetic device is called repetition. Now let us talk about the next poetic device, that is the fourth poetic device used in the poem. It is alliteration. What is alliteration? It refers to the repetition of a consonant sound in nearby or closely connected words. So here you can see in the line number 12 and in 13, the words are wind, winnows and won't wait. So you can, if you read these words, you will find out that the sound of W has been repeated. So whenever any consonant sound has been repeated in nearby or closely connected words, this kind of device is called alliteration. So this is an example of alliteration where W has been repeated in these words like wind, winnows and won't wait. Now the fifth and the last poetic device used in the poem is symbolism. Now what is symbolism? This is whenever we use symbols to represent things, especially in literary work, this is called as symbolism. It is used to represent an abstract idea. So here you can see the wind is a symbol which refers to the challenges and obstacles, or you can say the hardships of human life. So here the poet has used symbolism and he symbolized wind with the hardships, challenges of the human life. So these are the poetic devices used in this poem. I hope you all have understand. Thank you.